This is going to be the first in a series of videos I'm going to do on a couple different topics that'll be helpful. First one, so when we do phase one, we do the resume tuning. What we need to do is get as much real world information as possible. So we're going to use all the systems and we're going to use all of the tech that we can to get an advantage for you with the tracking systems and all this type of thing. But there's no other substitute, in my opinion, for getting real information from the actual job market. So there's a ton of things we're going to learn by just applying to places that you might not actually want to work for, or in places that you might not want to move to. In my opinion, it's important to get that information and to practice on other markets, because the markets that you don't want, or the markets that are outside the markets that you do, also have to compete with those other places. So just by the nature of how they operate, you'll learn a lot more about your own market when you expand the search and you start going to these areas that aren't necessarily your first choice. Obviously, if you can be geographically flexible, that's always going to be, expand your opportunities significantly to get the kind of role you want to break into this thing. But at least understand that I would say take every one of the opportunities that come in optimistically. So if they ask you, hey, this job is in, Burbank, or it's in Alaska, or wherever, my response is always to say something like, oh yeah, actually we were looking into moving that way. I have a friend or relative, actually don't make it too personal, but I have somebody who mentioned this area, and I've been looking at it seriously. If you can make a personal connection, but don't get too specific with the area. Like my wife and I were just talking or thinking about moving to this area, whatever, insert city here, just something simple like that, and it plants the seed that you're not basically a threat for them, right? Because what they're asking with this question is, do you really want to move to Burbank? You know what I mean? Or whatever company it is, or whatever area it is that this application is from. So with that, the idea is we just want to respond optimistically and add in something that makes it seem like no big deal, right? Oh yeah, I was actually thinking about moving to Los Angeles, or I was actually considering moving to enter city here anyway. So there's is this person serious? Do they really want to be in this market? And then there's the relocation, the money question, right? So I usually answer both those things optimistically, like, oh, we were already thinking about moving to that city. We love that city. It's great, or something like that. And then that takes sort of the pressure off of them. All they're really doing is they want to just cross off the people and just rule them out, the ones that aren't going to relocate, or that aren't going to want to be in that market, or if they're from outside. So a lot of times recruiters will weed you out unless you give them a good answer, or even from the get, they just won't even respond to you if you're from outside the market. Sometimes you get hit with that too. So the best way, in my opinion, to respond to this is to just do so in the affirmative. Take every one of these seriously, not because you have to, or that you're actually going to take the job if they offered it to. But the point is to get through the process enough times, to get the practice, to get the information about what it is that this company's looking at, how they found out about you. There's just so much information you're going to get by taking every one of these, especially at the beginning, like it's a real opportunity, and sort of playing along. And who knows, if they make you a killer offer to go to LA, I'd say consider it, or whatever other city, if that's the case. So absolutely, run it like that if you want, just so we can get some more information. And then the more of these things that we do, you'll see how much you can really learn by doing out of market type interviews. So that's the thought for that one. Plenty more of these where it comes along. I'm gonna just record it in this fashion, and I'll send it out, and then I'll probably reuse this content later. But at least gives me an easy way to sort of drop some knowledge. Rock on. We'll be in touch.